Project outcomes, expectations, and goals are not negotiable. What does that mean? It means that if I say the project needs to be 11 by 17 at poster size, it is 11 by 17 at poster size. And negotiating with me about its dimensions, I'm going to say no. Does that make sense? Okay, now, a lot of the red stuff in my syllabus or a lot of the rules are there because something has happened in a class where I just go, I can't deal with this anymore. And I had a student last quarter that was negotiating almost every expectation in a project. And so look, now it's in my syllabus, now it's in my contract. I'm not going to negotiate with students. I design the projects and problems with a specific goal in mind, and I want to honor that. And if 99% of the students are following that, why should I treat you any differently? I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, so you can thank my student in my advanced illustration class for that one. These are the projects that we may focus on. A narrative diagram, an homage poster design, a portrait illustration, and a magazine layout. So those are the potential. So some of them we may do, some of them we may not do. Assignment due date policy. All due dates are announced in class. It is the student's, there it is. It is the student's responsibility to find out when assignments are due. Late work can be accepted with the instructor's consent. Work will not be accepted that is 1 week beyond the due date. Late work will result in a lower grade determined by the severity of the delay. No projects will be accepted after the final exam window. So once we do the final exam, which is June, it was in blue copy at the beginning of the page, at 6 p.m. that day, I can't take any more projects. I can't legally, all right? So just so that's out there. And students must turn in the work in the assigned service space and or Canvas. So this is a Canvas class. You're turning it into Canvas. Clearly labeled and organized. Failure to do so may result in a 0 grade. It is the student's responsibility to ensure projects are turned in. So it's your responsibility to ensure they're turned in, not my responsibility. I'm just going to look at Canvas and say, is it there? It's not there, right? So if you're not certain, you need to ask me and sit with you or during a meeting or something like that with you. No exceptions. Course requirements. So these are things that I expect you as a student to perform in class. So I expect you to attend all classes and work for the entire class meeting. I expect you to take adequate notes during lectures and demonstrations so that they may achieve their assignments successfully outside of class. Students may have to work on assignments and projects outside of class. Well, this is an absolute for this class. Students are responsible for attending all classes, completing all quizzes and assignments, and participating in all critiques. Students are expected to keep their wits about them because I will frequently ask or call on students to demonstrate techniques or answer questions based on previous lectures. This doesn't pertain to this class, but this pertains to other classes that I teach. Project mock-ups and prints must be completed before the due dates. Students will not be allowed to print projects during the class period in which they are due. Students are responsible for scheduling printing with timing in mind. Failing to produce such a deliverable will result in the loss of a letter grade. What are your required materials? You need 2 things for this class. You need a notebook to take notes for your quizzes. Your quizzes are open note. You're welcome to use your notebook, so take adequate notes. You need a notebook. The other thing that you need is a storage device, so a flash drive. So I don't know what the minimum size is of a flash drive because it's constantly changing. Just spend $25 and get yourself a flash drive, or maybe 2, and back up your work on those flash drives. Does that make sense? Because I'm not responsible for your work if you leave it here and it disappears. So I expect you to back it up. Secondly, you should back it up somewhere else when you get home. Because what if you forget your flash drive in your pocket and you wash your pants and the flash drive is cooked? I'm not responsible for how you're managing your content. Everything is due when I say it's due. That's just the way it is. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so flash drive or a storage device and a notebook. That's the only thing that I expect out of you in terms of required materials. Academic integrity policy. This basically says that I expect you to produce your own work. I do not want you to plagiarize or borrow somebody else's work. And by the way, I have caught people plagiarizing. You should become familiar with this policy. There's a link here if you want to read it, but basically produce your own work. It's just do the right thing. It's my goal to create a welcoming and inclusive environment. I expect students to respect one another and carry themselves in a professional manner. Any disruptive behavior is not. That's bad grammar. Is not acceptable and will be addressed by the instructor and the department. In the pursuit of a positive work and study environment, cell phones and music devices should be set to mute or turned off. Abusive language and behavior will not be tolerated and will result in disciplinary action, which will result in suspension or expulsion. The classroom and classroom resources are for academic purposes and should be limited to activities connected to the class. Personal work may be explored with the instructor's consent. So basically what I'm saying here is that if you're disrespectful to me or other students, I'm going to address it. I'm not gonna play games about it, and I'm gonna ask you to leave. And that's pretty simple. And if there is a bigger issue, I will go to the dean. I will go to through other resources in the college to remove you from the class. I have been teaching for 15 years, I said. I have never had an issue, and I don't expect to have an issue. And even if something slight happens that's really bothering you, tell me, I will address it, and the problem will go away. Does that make sense? So I like to have a fun, professional environment. Keyword fun as well. I like it to be an uplifting and a joyful experience. But we also need to treat each other with respect. And there's a lot of nuances to that, but I want you to know that if you feel uncomfortable, you can come to me and I will ensure that everything is taken care of. But I also want to mention that I'm not okay with personal devices like cell phones being used while I'm lecturing. And if you want to upset me, I don't think I get upset very often, but if you want to upset me, start using a cell phone in class and go on Facebook or text people. That will set me off. If you want me to get triggered, that's what's going to trigger me. So please, if you want to text somebody, get up, go outside, and do it there. I just don't want to see it.